If you're starting at an RFI response deadline right now, chasing 3 different SMEs for answer that should already exist somewhere, this video is for you. We looked at 7 different RFI tools on the market in 2026, and what we found is that they split into 2 genuinely different approaches, not just 7 flavors of the similar thing. Teams that picked the right approach for their actual problem are reporting win rate roughly around 50% higher than the teams that didn't. So before you book any other demo, let's figure out which approach your team actually needs. I'm Snehal, this is Win More RFP, where we break down proposal softwares the way proposal team actually uses. No sponsored content, no paid placement. Today, we are covering RFI software, specifically 7 tools, 2 approaches, and how to tell which one fits your team before you waste another quarter with the wrong one. Here is something worth sitting before we get into tools. Most RFI responses don't lose because the product was wrong for the buyers. They lose in the process of writing the responses. Teams spend days chasing SMEs, legal and security for answers to a single questionnaire. That is not a tooling problem on its own, but it is the beginning of the first crack. Different contributors pull from different old documents, so terminology and figures drift across sections. Nobody did anything wrong in here. The document just doesn't agree with itself anymore. And the same question answered 2 different ways in one document is one of the fastest ways to lose buyer's trust. An evaluator doesn't need to find one wrong answer. They just need to find one inconsistency. Slow, inconsistent, and contradictory. That's the actual failure pattern. And it's worth keeping in mind as we go through these tools, because not all of them fix the same piece of it. Most RFI tools are built around a content library your team writes and maintains. A newer approach connects directly to the documentation you already have. Those are genuinely different ways of solving the same problem. Loopio, responsive, Qvidian, AI responds by matching questions to a pre-approved answer library. Ask something outside that library and a manual writing takes back over. There's no automatic check for those 2 stored answers that contradict each other, and the library needs constant manual upkeep to avoid going stale. Inventive AI, Arphie, Tribble, SiftHub, and HeyIris. These read the full RFI before drafting a single answer, not question by question. Autonomous agents run intake, draft, validate, and flag with a human approving at the end. They sync live with SharePoint, Drive, Confluence, Notion, and even Salesforce. Instead of a separate library, they flag contradiction across source documents before the response ships. Same category, 2 fundamentally different bets on where the risk lives. Before you compare specific tools, here's the checklist worth holding every time one of them accountable for. Grounded in your real documentation, product specs, certification, past responses, not a generic language pulled from a model's training data. Live sync to SharePoint, Drive, Confluence, and Salesforce. Instead of a separate library someone has to feed manually. Catches an outdated certification or a conflicting document before it reaches the buyer, not after that. Assign each questions to the right person, tracks progress, and sends a reminder automatically. SOC 2, Type 2, Data Residency, SSO, and SCIM, audit logs, and written confirmation your content never trains the model. Structured Excel comes back in the correct rows and column. Portal submission goes directly. 6 requirement, keep them in your back pocket, because this is exactly what separates the tool that just look impressive on a demo call from the one that stays accurate deep into a long questionnaire, not just the first few answers. Let's pull all 7 next to each other. Inventive AI, best for proposal and pre-sale teams wanting autonomous end-to-end drafting. It reads the full RFI before drafting and flags the contradictions automatically. Rated 5 out of 5 users-based pricing with unlimited users. Loopio, built for teams with an existing content library, section-based assignment, freshness indicator. It's a 4.4 out of 5. Responsive, built for enterprise teams with a complex approval chair, multi-gate approval workflow, a trust score per answer. 4.2 out of 5, starting from $5,000 a year. ShiftHub for pre-sale teams tied to active deal cycle. It pulls live CRM deals context into responses. It's a 5 out of 5. HeyIris for team needing source-grounded, audit-ready RFI answers. Every answer cites its source and flags the stale content automatically. It has been a 4.9 out of 5. Qvidian for a regulated enterprise needing a full audit trail inside Word. It's a 4.6 out of 5. Arphie for a compliance-heavy RFI needing sourced. Auditable answers, every answer ships with the source and reasoning attached to it. It's been a 5.5. A rating alone doesn't tell you what a tool is actually good at. Here's where each of these 4 owns its score and where it doesn't. ShiftHub pulls from a live CRM and deal context into every responses. Useful when an RFI is tied into an active deal. Quality rise and falls how clean that CRM data is. Arphie, every answer ships with its own source, reasoning attached to it. Strong for compliance-heavy RFIs, the tool automatically catches if two source documents disagree. HeyIris ships every answer with its source and a knowledge ledger that flags stale content. Strong for auditability. As a newer entrant, integration depth still trails established players. Qvidian lives inside Word with a full audit trail. A genuine fit for a regulated enterprises. Output is not only as current as the library behind. 4 tools, 4 different bets on where your team's real bottleneck is. Worth knowing which one is actually yours before you sign anything. A few more AI native options, OneUp, Steerlab and Tribble come up often too. We are covering those next for anyone narrowing on the categories specifically. As mentioned on the previous slide, these 3 are additional AI native options that didn't make to the main table. Here's how and what they are different from each other. OneUp, good for smaller teams wanting AI to draft first answers fast. Beyond just RFIs, trade-off less RFI specific depth than the dedicated tool. Steerlab, an AI-first human-in-the-loop platform for RFPs, RFIs and security questionnaires with confidence scoring. Trade-off smaller install base than established players. Tribble, an AI native but built as a general GTM tool rather than a RFI specific. Trade-off still scaling enterprise grade integration. Inventive AI. And here's the deck's own bottom line on when Inventive AI specifically is the right call. You want a platform that reads the full RFI before drafting, syncs live to your documentation instead of manual library, and flags contradiction before they reach the buyer without needing to choose between speed and accuracy. That's a specific claim about a specific problem, worth testing against your own RFI before you take it at a face value, the same way you should with any other tool in this very list. Here's the part that doesn't show up on the featured page. Most RFI responses fails evaluator, not because the product is weak, but because the answer cannot be traced back to the verified source. The right RFI software fixes this. It connects to your knowledge base, attributes every answer to the verified source, and catches conflicting information before it reaches an evaluator. Choosing RFI software isn't just a productivity decision. The tool your team uses shapes the quality of every response you send, and that quality has a direct effect on whether your buyer move forward with you or go with somebody else. The right RFI software doesn't just save time, it wins you the deal. The tool your team chooses becomes the ceiling on how good your responses can be. Match the platform to where your process actually breaks. Content library if your team just needs organized answer, a CRM linked tool if responses are deal specific, an AI native platform if accuracy and consistency across full questionnaire is what actually costing your deals. Library-based tools work if your answer rarely changes and volume is the real pressure. CRM-linked tools work if the missing piece is context on the specific buyer. AI-native platforms are built on the harder case, keeping accuracy, consistency intact across long, varied questionnaires without someone checking every line by hand. Start by naming which of these three is actually breaking down for your team today. That answer matters more than any single feature on this very list. If this helped you narrow down your list, drop a comment with which of these 7 you are currently evaluating. Subscribe for more breakdown like these, and I'll see you in the next one.